Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for being here. This is another Q&A video that I started this series a couple months ago. I'm really glad that you're participating in it and leaving me questions on the videos. Whenever I answer the questions, go ahead and leave more questions in the comments section, such as this one, and then I'll pull those questions and answer them in the next Q&A video. So thank you so very much for being here. I do have a few questions on from last week's show. From last week's video, so let me look those up here and see what I can answer today. Be sure and give me a thumbs up as soon as you walk in the door, and if not, don't forget to do it before you leave. You will find an array of content here in this channel. I do a lot of reselling and thrifting, so I do like to answer questions on anything about that topic. I'm also a full-time teacher, so I occasionally talk about that as well. I'm a reseller on eBay and Poshmark and Amazon. I've been a power seller on eBay for a few years, so I do have some knowledge that I want to share with you. And if you have anything that you want to share with us, we definitely appreciate it. So always leave your comments, constructive criticism and all, in the comment section, and we really appreciate when you do that as well. All right, so let me get to the questions of the last Q&A. Well, someone was asking me a little bit more detail about the things that I mentioned in the last video about cleaning and restoring handbags. My glasses are so crooked, guys. They are really driving me nuts. Oh, I hate them. I just hate them. I think they're just, look at that, they're just crooked. Oh, how does that happen? Do your ears go, I don't know. Anyway, to clarify on the restoration of the bags, what I was mentioning that I like to rub on the corners when the bags are a little bit faded and is kind of, worn off, is shoe polish. I was using men's shoe polish, or just want it to look really dark. I don't want it to look shiny, so I really kind of blend all of that together. So that was just to clarify that. And then another question was about the hairspray removing ink from a handbag, and that was from it was a little confusing as to whether you apply the hairspray to the cloth and then wipe it off, or do it directly to the bag. You do it directly to the bag. You spray it right on the bag, and then you wipe it. It will not work on leather. As far as I know, it does not work on leather. It only works on fabric. So, okay, so then now to the new questions. Let me see. What pieces, this one is, thank you, Thelma. What pieces of jewelry would you sell if you were just starting out in the reselling business? And this also includes brand names. Okay, well, I will tell you this much, that if I was just starting out in the business, I would look in my jewelry box. That is honestly what I would do. I would look in my jewelry box and I would pull out everything that I no longer wear, everything that, whether it's valuable and valuable gemstones and precious metals, I would still sell them. I'm not afraid to sell on eBay. I'm not afraid to sell them on Poshmark. There are a lot of safeguards there that really protect the seller as well as the buyer. So I'm definitely not afraid to do that. But that is the first place I would look, is my jewelry box, because there is a lot of jewelry there that you no longer wear, that someone gave you, that you never liked. And so why not sell those? Again, back to the protections of eBay. There are lots of protections available. You can protect yourself as well when you ship off an expensive item. Insure it. Make sure that you send it with signature confirmation. Don't just send it, willy-nilly with no insurance and no signature confirmation. And moreover, you can actually choose the person to that you're selling it to. You can choose the exact person to sign it. So if you're sending it that way, the person that you sold it to will sign for it, and no one else can say, well, no, they didn't sign for it, or maybe a daughter picked it up, maybe no one picked it up. That way it's really a lot more secure. That way it's secure for you, and it's secure for the buyer too, because 9 times out of 10 the buyer is not trying to scam you. The buyer wants the item. I have sold a Tiffany diamond necklace. I've sold a tennis bracelet on Posh, sold a Tiffany necklace, diamond necklace on eBay. I've sold $900 Louis Vuitton bags. I've bought expensive Louis Vuitton bags on eBay. So I have always made sure that when I buy and when I sell, that there is some protection there. And I'm very impressed when a buyer does that, and when a seller does that, rather. I'm very impressed when the seller does that as well. And, tracks confirmation, sends you confirmation. Sell what you have. As far as looking at garage sales or thrift stores, I always look for I look for the trends, of course. The statement necklaces were really popular a couple of years ago. They're still selling. I'm not seeing people wear them as much as I used to, but they're still selling. Some people still like them. Maybe they're saving them for the evening or the special occasions, but they are still selling. I like to see what other people are wearing. I love going to the mall, not to buy so much. I usually take my daughter, and I love to sit in the food court and eat too much. And people watch. I love seeing what the young women are wearing, what the people that work there are wearing, because that's what you're going to sell. The tassel earrings are something that I've noticed lately. They're literally cloth tassel earrings, like the kind you would hang up on your curtains or something. But they're very popular. People are wearing those. I've told you about the beaded necklaces. People are really big into the beaded necklaces right now as well. They always have been. And then, of course, the classics, the coin jewelry that always sells, charm bracelets, anything like that. Of course, you want to look for good brands, and then you want to kind of experiment with what's fun for you. Do you like to look and research vintage brands like Napier and Coro and all of those, Miriam Haskell? If that's interesting for you, then go ahead and start looking for that. Get yourself some books, or go on the internet, go on Pinterest. All you have to do is put in Miriam Haskell or vintage earrings or clip-on earrings of the 50s, and they will give you an array of pictures to study. And that's what makes it fun. If it's fun for you to find and research and then list, that's what keeps you at it. Because if you don't find pleasure in reselling, you're definitely not going to stick to it. And that's what you want to do in the end, is to stick to it and make some money out of that. But first place to look is definitely your closet and your own jewelry box. I would definitely do that. All right. Thank you so much for that question. I really appreciate it. Let me see if we have another question real quick. Okay. Someone says, I'm asking you about the LV cherry bags, how to spot a fake one. I have a video on how to detect a fake Louis Vuitton, and I really think that goes to the general realm because it's pretty easy to detect a fake Louis Vuitton once you've seen and touched a real one. And whether you see it close up, go to the website, go to the Louis Vuitton website. You can zoom in on those beautiful pictures and you can see everything from the stitching to the linings, and you'll recognize that, a pigskin lining is not something that you see in a genuine Louis Vuitton. You'll recognize that you won't see frayed edges. You won't see, unless it's a vintage bag that maybe's already gotten very worn out or something, but you'll hardly ever see the leather itself start to fray. You'll notice that the red coloration that they put, the little sealant that they put on the edge of the leather, that is never going to be a stark, shiny, bloody red. It's going to be a very toned down, muted red. And of course, you can learn to study you can also learn to study the codes as well. Not all Louis Vuittons had codes. Some of them in the earlier days did not. But you'll also be able to see the appearance of the canvas. That is such a telltale sign. I can spot them in pictures usually because they look very shiny. They look stiff. They just don't look like a canvas, like a Louis Vuitton canvas. And then with the coloration of the cherries, I took a quick look. With the coloration of the cherries, I took a quick look, and I noticed that that they do have the one piece of canvas, so you will see the opposite side be upside down, just as they are in most Louis Vuittons that are sewed in one piece of canvas. And they also seem to highlight and shade the little cherry. The cherry seems to come, the stem seems to come and is placed strategically almost in the exact same place. I think it's in the little floral part, but all of that is very uniform, and it will not vary much. It does get cut off. It's a kind of a myth where people say the LV won't be cut off or the pattern itself won't be cut off. That's not always the case. I'm going to show you my Murakami. This is the Courtney. It was designed with Courtney Love in mind, and I am probably going to switch to this bag. Probably next month. We'll pop it out here. I don't like the way it's folded right there. I do have it stuffed, but sometimes it's a pretty heavy bag, and it gets kind of. And I wrap it also. I wrap it to store it. I wrap the hardware in scarves because they tend to sometimes stain. With the verdigris, they can stain the leather. But one thing that was very distinctive about this bag, and that I researched one before I bought it as well, because I bought this one off of eBay and I bought it in wonderful, like new condition, was the variance in color. Apparently, this Murakami multicolor has, I forgot whether it was 20 or 15 different colors, but it even specified it to that extent. And when you look at the fake ones, they don't bother to put 20 different colors. You know, it's just not that, they're just not that precise. So those are some of the telltale signs in a genuine Louis Vuitton. Study what exactly went into it, but that's what I did. I could tell immediately when I saw it that it was genuine because of that. And then the lining is not going to be that cheap pig skin that feels like that is leather, but it's pigskin leather. It'll be in the ultra suede. I think they call it Alcantara fabric. So all of those are your telltale signs. The stitching will always be uniform. It's not going to be crooked. It's going to have, I think they said, if it has 10 stitches on, if it has 10 stitches on here, it's going to have 10 stitches on the other strap. Everything has to be absolutely symmetrical, absolutely quality. That's what you're paying for. That's what you expect. So in things like that, you can always tell a fake bag from a. I'm going to link my video at the end of this video so you can take a look at it and see the way you can, the things to look for and the things to expect in a genuine bag. And I think that carries over to any kind of a bag, especially the Murakami multicolored, the cherry, and so forth. And it's going to, don't think that just because it has a little discoloration that it's not genuine. I also have a Louis Vuitton graffiti, and it has a little discoloration on the graffiti that's painted on there. It's an old bag. It's about a 20-year-old bag. So things like that can happen. I don't know when the cherries came out. I think they came out, about 10, 15 years ago? But you may find some of that. But you'll see the inferior quality in other ways. You'll see it in the stitching. You'll see it in the lining. You'll see it in the way the canvas feels. It'll feel very cheap and light, or it'll feel very heavy and stiff. And a genuine Louis Vuitton canvas is just more flexible, more I don't know, more giving. And now they even have certain bags that are made in the monogram. Now they have some that are even lighter and more flexible. I think the Eva clutch that I have is a lot lighter. But don't be afraid to go into a Louis Vuitton store and look at them and touch them. I've bought from the Louis Vuitton salons at Neiman's. I've never actually gone to a store, but when I've gone, I've never bought anything from the store, but I've bought them from the Neiman's salon. And the people are very friendly. I've never really encountered a lot of snobs in there, so nobody knows who's going to buy and who's not. There's people that walk in there with jeans and, buy 3 or 4 bags, and there's people that walk in there with suits and don't buy anything. So you just never know. Don't be afraid to walk in there and actually look at a bag, or if you have a friend who has a bag, tell her to show it to you so you can see what a genuine Louis Vuitton canvas feels like, so that when you run into one, you'll recognize it. I think that's all my questions, guys. Thank you for those. Thank you so very much for them. Please be sure and leave me some more questions here in the comment section. I really enjoy this interaction and this time that I have to research your question a little bit more than just a live Q&A. I may do a live Q&A one day, but I kind of like this format a little bit more because it does give me a chance to research it and talk about it in a little bit more in depth and not feel, like I have to hurry up and answer it or anything like that. But please be sure and post more questions so that I can have another video to bring you next week. I really want to keep this series nice and vital, and that's only going to happen if you continue to post questions, comments, and such. And if not, I will fish out some questions from the other videos because I do get a lot of questions on my other videos. I usually answer them right there on the video as soon as possible, but I may go ahead and bring them in here because people may find them interesting. And again, if you have any input on the questions that I address, I really appreciate your insight. If you know something in particular about the cherry handbag that they were asking about, which is an absolutely beautiful bag, I might add, I really do like it. I like that one, and I'm really liking the camouflage. I think I saw a picture of Kim Kardashian carrying the camouflage. It might have been an old one, It might have been an old photo, but oh, I just love Louis Vuittons. They're just so cute. But anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for stopping in for this video. Please come back again really soon. Don't forget to give me that thumbs up before you leave. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already done so. And there is a bell there by the subscribe button. Hit that as well, because that'll remind you when I upload a new video or when I go live on Saturdays. Thank you again for everything, guys. Bye.
One way or another.